There you go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's wonderful adventure of Shadowrun, brought to you by me, Inwils, and my faithful crew of Chuggerwugger, Longshanks EPG, and also Big Beastie. Now, to get things underway, I always like to play the Shadowrun intro. So, without further ado, I'll play the intro, and then when I come back, I'll bring the motley crew with me. Yeah, you know how it works. Okay, so here is the introduction to Shadowrun. I'm here. Let's see if they are here. Are you here?
No.
Oh, as if by magic, the shopkeeper arrived, which was big.
Bing bong.
Bing bong. Avon calling. Excellent. We are here. Welcome. And we've got everyone here. You missed Studley in his glasses earlier.
I'll put them back on.
Okay, put them back on just for a bit. I like them. I think you should play them all the time. And one of these days, I think Billy Bob should come in a body warmer, like Billy Bob, because Billy Bob in the picture wears a body warmer. And
it's cold, you know.
Yeah. And you should have your hair. You should have your hair cut like that. Make it go blonde.
Blonde buzz cut. That's what you should have.
Yeah, go on, Big. Go on.
I'll work on that for next time. Then,
yeah. Ask your wife. Ask your wife. Give your wife some
Don't
clickers.
promise anything big.
Yeah, and you should. Where's your cowboy hat, Longshanks EPG?
It's in the outfitters still. They ordered the wrong size.
And you need a red neckerchief. And Studley, as well as your glasses, you need a pair of swimming goggles on your head.
I could just draw those on.
No, seriously, you can get swimming goggles like that for 4-year-olds. You should wear one of them. I think that would be fantastic. Anyway, Billy Bob just keeps going on and off the screen. I can just because you are.
He's probably eating his Chinese.
My Chinese came late.
That's no excuse. Make it leave it. Let it go cold.
No, can't do that to Chinese. Sacrilege.
I don't know. So anyway, a bit of a change of plan with the introduction because I'm asking the players this time round, rather than giving them an introduction to their characters to start off with. What I'm asking them to do is actually to tell me what they did last adventure. And when I say what they did last adventure, I don't mean tell me about the adventure. It's sort of like, last week I did this and this, almost like their famous actions, what they did that famous. And in order to support this, I am going to give the quick synopsis of the adventure first, so Chuggerwugger doesn't say it all for me. So I'm getting in there right at the beginning, and then I'll pass over to them. So basically, we're doing an adventure called the Timely Exchange, and the party didn't do very well at their last job, and so they've got a really, 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 really easy job that is only paying 2,000 credits, and all they have to do is exchange an asset for some money, and that's it. So the first thing they went off and found their rigger called Wheels and the van, and that involved some interesting exchange of violence and ear clipping. And then after that, they went to pick up the asset, who was called Max Sinclair, who was, of course, guarded. But the party quite nicely dealt with everything and picked up Max Sinclair, who they found was masked in some kind of magic, that Studley found out, because really and truly it's not Max Sinclair, it's another person. And Studley also found out that the
Oh, you stop giving all my things away.
Okay. Sorry, there's only one. I didn't know what else to say. And so they retrieved Max Sinclair, and then they headed back, or they came out and had a nasty encounter with some gang members, and then headed back to Wheels' van, where we left them speeding off to another location. So after that quick synopsis, it's time to let the parties introduce themselves and their characters, and to tell you briefly their highlights of the previous adventure. And we go straight down to Chuggerwugger.
Hello, I'm Chuggerwugger. I play Studley. He's the mage of the group. What did I do last adventure? I used Analyze Truth on Wheels to find out whether or not he was actually working for the same people as we were, which he was. I also did a bit of augmented reality to find out where we were in our new location so that I could give that information to Athena, who had got left behind. When we got to the pickup point, I led the frontal assault down the alleyway, used my skill of paranormal critters to find out that one of the gangers that was down there hadn't actually been killed by a human. When we did encounter a very large dog, can't remember what it was called. I keep wanting to say Bardiche, but it wasn't. That's like a big axe.
Yeah, Bardiche is actually.
Yeah.
You could call it whatever you wish.
Anyway, I used, I wrote it. It was a bar guest.
Yeah. Okay.
I used one of my spells. By that time, I already had increased reflexes on myself, so I was working very fast. Used one of my spells to clout it, tried to knock it out. We then opened the door, and I used my clairvoyance spell to scout out the passageway. What else did I do? I talked to the phony Max Sinclair to find out what he was all on about. And then right at the end, I used my counter spelling to protect Billy Bob from a fireball.
That is cool.
And then made myself look identical to Max Sinclair's phony person, so that if anybody attacked, there was a 50-50 chance that they would kill the asset, 50-50 chance that they would kill me.
Good idea. Very nice highlights there.
Thank you.
Did you actually get your gun out at one point? I thought it was it this adventure that we actually saw the weapon of your choice?
No, I got it out last adventure, but there wasn't enough. It was when they were all in that little room with Wheels.
Oh, right, yeah, got you. Excellent. So selective highlights there from Chuggerwugger. And now straight below me, we have Longshanks EPG.
Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. I play Hector, the who's an elf adept, and who is a gunslinger. Last week, I'm just trying to think what I did last week. Got out of the van, had a nice little stretch, sauntered down the alley, did some crime scene investigation along the alley, worked to concur with Studley's observations of it was an animal. I concurred, it was not a human that ripped half someone's spine out. Wandered down another little tunnel, met a very nice bloke called Sinclair, wandered back up the tunnel, Shot my taser a couple of times. I also did quite a bit of damage to the Vargeist, whatever you want to call it. Big, hairy dog thing. Did some damage to that. And yeah, that was about it.
Cool. And over to Billy Bob, who is chomping on a Chinese food.
Not anymore. I am Big Beastie, and I play Billy Bob, the orc tank of the group. And last adventure, I killed a load of people.
You did, which is basically what you do, really.
That is what I did. That was it. I stood guard.
You
while
did?
They went into the tunnel. Nothing came, so...
I think you took up rear guard at one point while the Studley took the lead. I think I remember that at one point.
I was giving cover from the rear.
Yeah, excellent. So that's what they all did. That's what I did, and we're going to continue the adventure. And tonight we will hopefully see the conclusion of the Timely Exchange adventure. And like I put in the description of the show on Twitter, Timely Exchange nearing the end, but for who? So guys, if you remember last time, you were all back into the car. Wheels and Billy Bob are in the front of it, and Studley and Hector on either side of Max Sinclair in the back. Max Sinclair is masked, so there's somebody else he is, and then Max Sinclair is what he appears like. Studley, have you released your mask or not?
Yes, but Max Sinclair is actually in the right hand. He's next to the door. I'm in the middle.
Oh right,
because Studley was thinking that if a sniper's going to sort of like have a go, they're going to sort of like take out the person in the middle.
Got ya. So Studley's being brave.
Studley's in the middle, and Max Sinclair is on the right hand side.
Excellent. Okay then. So the car is moving. Wheels is in his normal relaxed state, data jacked into the car, relaxed and laid back and almost in his own private world on his rigger pod. And the car is moving. As always, the windows are smoked, and so you can't see out, and you seem to be going along at what appears to be a steady pace rather than a fast pace like you did before.
As soon as the car is underway, Studley wants to go into augmented reality using his comlink, and on his image link on his glasses, he wants to start searching for information on cranial cyberware.
Okay.
And he's basically looking to see whether or not he can fit anything that matches the description of the aura that he saw on the phony Max Sinclair.
Oh yes,
the big mass with the tendrils coming out of it.
Got ya.
So he's going to narrow his search down onto cranial cyberware or neurological implants.
Yeah, got ya. Okay, Hector, what would you like to do?
Hector's just going to sit there quietly, but he's keeping an eye out for any tails or anything like that.
The glasses are the windows are smoked across, so you can't actually see out or anything like that at this present moment in time. If you remember last adventure, I think was it you, Studley, that actually asked for them to be
unsmoked.
Unsmoked because you got.
We were stationary then, yeah.
Yeah, because you got car sick or something like that. So, Billy Bob, is there anything you would like to do?
Billy Bob's going to try and get in touch with Athena.
Athena, yeah.
He is.
Okay, cool. So, Studley, can you roll your matrix search for me?
Um, bu- bu- Specialized, yes. Situation modifier. It'll automatically take into account my wound, I take it.
It certainly has.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 successes.
Oh,
Just quickly checks to see whether or
yeah,
not he had his edge on.
Nice. So 5 successes is really nice, and you sort of like you managed to pick up a website that is advertising cyber implants, and it's quite good actually because it sort of like has a range of images. So it sort of like says cyber arm, cyber eyes, and sort of like has one of those cutaway images next to it, so you can see what it would look like, and it's showing all the eye. How the eye connects to the optic nerve, etc., or to comlinks. And you sort of like manage to sort of like with your AR glass, you manage to sort of like flick through the almost like the brochure. And it's not, there's seems to be nothing for sale that actually resembles this at all. So you continue on to another site, and you actually find something that is very similar on what can only be called as a runner's exploit site. It seems to be a site that's sort of like almost like hoax or not hoax. It's all like things that runners have actually encountered, and whether or not they actually believe, whether or not they actually exist or not. So it's a bit like you don't know whether or not the things are actually true or not. However, you do see something that resembles something similar in the picture. And next to it, there's a picture also of a person's head exploding. Not a real person's head. It's sort of like animated. It's almost like a GIF or GIF, depending how you say. And next to it, it says Cortex bomb. And it says an illegal method of coercion. Cranial bombs come in 3 flavors: kink, micro bombs, and area bombs. Kink bombs are designed to damage only part of the victim's head, either rendering specific hardware useless or damaging the brain to cause blindness, stuttering, hearing loss, or some other trauma. Of course, sometimes when something in your head explodes, things don't exactly go as planned, and the result is a bit much. The micro bomb version is just powerful enough to kill the unfortunate bearer. However, area cranial bombs kill the victim and also affect a blast area exactly like a fragmentation grenade. The bombs can be remote or time detonated, or even set to discharge by sound recognition. If installed, it can be installed in cyber limbs. These bombs are designed to destroy specific components. For example, kink the entire limb, regular or blast area, and damage the bearer altogether.
Judging from the size of the aura that Studley saw in Astral, when he did astral perception on the Max Sinclair, who's not Max Sinclair, it was a pretty large mass in his head, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Right.
Billy Bob, yeah, Athena is back up and running. She has a drone high up overhead, surveillance. And Chuggerwugger, you've gone back to Chuggerwugger rather than Studley on the dice roll. I don't know whether.
Oh, it's because I crashed.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put it back now.
So Athena is listening in and is following, because Wheels is driving none too fast at the moment. It's just going along at a steady rate. She is high up.
Can Studley get out his what's he call it? His electronic paper that he made the notes of the briefing that Charlie gave us, and see. He seems to think that the idea was to hand this phony Max Sinclair over to the cube back to Qubit 64, where he was going to impersonate Max Sinclair to get more information about the.
What does he want? Does he want to check his facts?
He just wanted to check his facts. Yeah.
Okay then. So while you're perusing your paper, Hector, is there anything you would like to do?
No. Hector's just going to sit there, and he's going to get a bullet out of his belt and start doing, it's like the coin trick, but with a bullet across his fingers.
Okay. And Billy Bob, is there anything you would like to do?
Billy Bob's gonna unclip his rounds from his weapon and make sure they're all okay.
Okay.
Because he dropped the floor in the last bit.
Okay. Studley, just roll a memory test for me. I'm just seeing whether or not you put all the information down, because you were writing it at that time. Wow, what are you on?
5 successes.
What are you on today?
I know. It's when I come to cast a spell that everything goes wrong and I get 1.
I think you should be wounded more often. I think somebody should stab you before you go into combat. You do remember exactly what you said, that he was going to go in and impersonate, and you also remember that the Charlie actually mentioned that the asset was disposable.
But remembering the first meeting with the asset down in the
money was not. The money was not.
Yeah. In the room, he didn't come across as somebody who had been who could pass himself off as a scientist or a researcher or anything like that. He was a bit simple. It looked like he was just sort of like a street urchin that had been dragged up and had agreed to do the job.
If you say so.
Okay. Studley wants to get the information about the cranial implant that he suspects might be the same type as the asset has. He's going to put it onto a send message, and he's going to just put underneath it, asset may have one of these embedded in his head. Think 007 bytes is going to wipe out Qubit 64. ... And he's going to send it to Athena, Hector. I nearly said Hengison. Hector and Billy Bob.
Cool. So,
and then once he's finished that, he's going to come out of AR.
Okay, so as Hector and Billy Bob and Athena, you all receive the information that Studley has just sent you.
As Hector reads that, he's still been doing the whole like finger thing with the bullet, like rocking it along his fingers. He pauses halfway for half a second, and then carries on when he realizes that he's stopped doing what he was doing, and he's going to send a message back to through VI using his other hand. To type, saying, "Okay, bear in mind. We'll keep an eye out."
Billy Bob. Go on.
No, it's your turn.
Billy Bob wants to know the blast radius, if possible.
Athena comes on the line and she says, "I'll check that out, Billy Bob."
Studley's going to lean forward in between the two front armrests of the car, and even though Wheels is there, sort of like laid back with his eyes in the top of his head, doing whatever he does, he's going to go, Wheels, do you know how long it's going to take us to get to our next destination? It's just that I do need to prepare certain magical protection for the party.
You notice that once you say it, Wheels doesn't move at all. But you notice that this almost like robotic voice comes out the car, almost like Kit, as in Knight Rider, and he's just sort of like says, "Awaiting destination."
So we're just randomly driving around then. Okay. Studley's going to turn round to Hector, who's sat next to him, and he's going to say, have we decided who is going to be John Markham yet?
Max Sinclair goes, "Oh, Professor Markham. Oh, is he coming as well? He's a very nice person. Have
you met him?
Oh, of course. He's head of research. I was hoping that I might be able to catch his eye one day and get a quick promotion." Athena's voice comes back over the comms to you three, and she says, "Gentlemen, I think you should be a bit wary. The blast radius of this so-called cortex bomb or cranial bomb could be anywhere between as a room to a building, depending on the explosive."
Billy Bob's gonna send a message now, basically saying that he's gonna handle Max Sinclair.
So will we be picking up Professor Markham? It'd be really, really good for my CV if I could probably meet him for a while. Maybe have a little chat about my my recent research that I'm doing.
Oh, what type of research are you doing?
It's into network systems.
Oh, network systems. Oh, right.
I think perhaps Dr. Malcolm will be meeting us there.
Oh, that's really good. It'd be really nice. Do you think I'll have the opportunity to talk to him about my research? You know, the possibility of quantum computers is very, very, it's a great possibility at the moment. And I really do think if I can actually activate it in such a way to create a quantum network, then the data transfer would be quite incredible.
I will have to take your word with that. I'm not good with computers, me. We don't see eye to eye.
Studley, do you have a hardware skill?
No. Just computer.
Okay, so you can roll your computer plus logic at -2, and everybody else can roll double your logic.
Four successes.
Good start for the night.
Excellent, well done. Billy Bob understands it. Warrior.
No, he doesn't at all, because there's a threshold that you need to get over, which is actually in this situation 4. So Studley, you know that quantum computers are sort of like was an early transition back in the 21st century, when they were moving from sort of like mainframe PCs, almost like electronic computers, onto quantum computers that were a lot speedier, and then that naturally progressed into the matrix. You don't really know why he would be talking about quantum computers at this time.
Okay, but the when we were downstairs in the bunker room, I'm going to call it, I see through the actual the mask that was currently on him, making him look like Max Sinclair.
I think you actually sensed him, did you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I see what they physically look like, though, or is it just like an aura thing?
No, you saw what he physically looked like. He just looks like...
so what he physically looked like didn't match.
I think I told you I think I told you at the time. I think I said that he looked like an 18-year-old lad.
Yeah. So, but I've actually seen the picture of Max Sinclair on the news feed when we didn't, and that didn't match up to.
He doesn't look like Max Sinclair, but the mask does.
Right. Yeah. That's all right. I didn't know whether or not it was a double cross, if you see what I mean.
Max Sinclair turns to you and said, "Do you know, I'm so pleased that you took me out of that cell. You know, I always felt that I was being watched."
Oh, well, what made you think that?
Well,
I didn't see any cameras in it.
Did you not see the strange little hole? It was almost like a peephole. I did go and look through it on several occasions, but it almost like seemed to be mirrored. So when I peered through, the only thing I could actually see was myself looking back.
Oh, that's very strange.
It is, yeah.
Studley's just going to think that it was probably something that they could maybe cast the magic through to do the mask to keep it going.
I really do hope that this is positive on my CV. I could really do with the promotion. You know, it's very nice that place like 007 Byte actually provides the money to get your data jack and your DNI connection. But really and truly, I really need somewhat of a break. I do hope agreeing for this transfer is going to be beneficial, and I can probably help the other company as much as they will help us eventually when I go back to 007 Byte.
So, how long have you worked for 007 Byte?
2 weeks.
Ah. And did they provide you with your data jack when you first started with them?
No, I had to work. I was working for them for about 3 days, and then they said that this opportunity had come up, and would I be prepared to do some investigation with another company. It was a bit of collaboration work. And of course, when they mentioned the possibility of promotion, I just jumped at the idea. And that was when I spent a day, which seems to be a rather a long time for a data jack and DNI connection. But, you know, things like this happen. You never know what's going on inside your head, don't you?
Oh, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
Yeah, so I got my data jack connected, and then it was quite strange. They said I had to wait in that room, and that somebody would come and get me when the transfer was ready to be completed.
Oh, so when the transfer happens, have you got to meet up with anybody in particular? Have they given you a contact in the new company?
Oh no! They said that somebody would come and collect me and take me to the new company and introduce me.
Ah, right.
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I've had such a hard life up to now, and this seems to be a really good break for me. You know, it's been quite traumatic, but I really think now that things are going to get better and are on the up.
Oh well, let's hope so. Studley's going to go back onto. He's going to send message to Athena. No, actually, he's going to go back into augmented reality, and he's going to see whether or not he can find out any more information on these on the Cortex bombs, and see whether or not there's any way to disable them, jam them, anything that can stop the explosion happening.
Okay, go for it. You just come up with the previous search on that runner site, and there's no information. There is one in the comments underneath that's various people have put underneath. There's sort of like various commas, like say "hard luck, chummer," and things like that. And then somebody says, somebody sort of like posted a question like yours and say, "Anywhere out of here?" And somebody underneath said, "Yeah. Chop your head off." And there's various lots of LOLs, etc. Underneath that.
Okay.
How long's the journey? Is Billy Bob got time to like bring his health back up a little bit or something?
No, well, currently you're just driving around, so you're not actually in a rested state. You're just literally driving around. You would have to sort of like say, "Oh right, let's get out the car, let's stop this, and go back and relax for X amount of days, and to get your health back."
All right, no problem. Just a question.
How badly are you wounded?
Not overly badly, but
I've only got 1 point of physical left.
12 out of 22.
You look around, and his 12 out of 22.
Nice.
You can't have 22.
What's overflow?
That's
Now, how many's in the, and where it says wounds, physical wounds, how many does it say there?
Oh, one in physical and 3 in stun.
But
all right, well, you're stunned, Mike.
His health pool is 13, though. Remember,
right?
He's quite a toughie.
You'll be fine.
Okay, yeah. Let's see whether or not if anybody has actually got stun damage. If you make a body plus willpower check. Okay, make it extended, please. I know it won't do it right, but still do extended. Anybody who's got stun damage.
Body plus willpower.
Yeah.
What? Hector hasn't got any stun damage. No one else does.
Minimum number of dice.
It won't matter.
Number of successes.
Won't matter. 32. You don't even need to pre-edge it. Okay.
Plus willpower 2. That's right.
Yeah. So after you're sort of like driving around for the next hour. So Billy Bob and Studley sort of like takes a break and sort of like settles down, and so you can actually gain 1 in the first hour. You actually get each hit heals 1 box of stun. So Billy Bob, you can heal up to 5, and Studley, you can heal up to 1 box of stun.
No, that's disgraceful.
So my stun's gone now then, because I only had, I think, 3.
Yeah, but you don't lose. You still got your body. Yeah. Okay, and after the hour of seems to be driving around, you're getting pretty sort of anxious, and Athena keeps sending you images of Cortex bombs explosions that she's finding on the internet, and they keep sort of like buzzing up onto your comm links. It's sort of like, you know, a guy with the aftermath, so just half his head there, you know, and sort of like supermarket mall destroyed due to Cortex bomb, and all these sort of like different scenarios. Runner team destroyed after Cortex bomb explosion, and then some people in hospital that have obviously got damaged faces from kink explosions when they've just sort of like taken out their eye or something like that, and she just sort of like, she keeps flashing up these pictures to you, and then she keeps accompanying them with messages saying, "This doesn't look good, guys, this doesn't look good." I wouldn't be close to this bomb if I was you. I would suggest you keep as far away as you possibly can from this bomb. It doesn't look like you should be very close to it at all. Please tell me you're not close to it.
In reply to this, I did it then. Hector turns his head slightly, takes a picture using his contacts lenses of Mr. Sinclair, where we believe he has the Cortex bomb, and says in a jokey way, "Is this close enough?"
She
sends it to Athena.
She just goes, #OMG.
Studley's just going to find an image on the Matrix of a can of sardines and send that to her.
She sort of like says to you, "Do I get all the £2,000, 2,000 credits that was coming to each of you if you don't make it?"
At which point, Hector will send a picture of an explosion on a tank and go, "I think Billy Bob might be okay."
Yeah, she sort of like sends you back a picture of this cowboy without a head. And
Billy Bob's just send a smiley face.
And she just sends to you, all it says is, "Uh-oh," like that, and that's it. And all of a sudden the car bursts into life, and there's a robotic voice comes over the loudspeaker. And first of all, you hear the car's voice, and it goes, it says, "Communication incoming." And then all of a sudden you hear this rather robotic voice. "Gentlemen, it is time for you to make the exchange. You will be brought to the appropriate location where the exchange will take place. This will be at Qubit 64 building, after hours, obviously. Please remember, the asset is disposable, but the money is not."
Hector's going to give half a glance to Sinclair to see if he's reacted or not to the asset is disposable.
He's looking very wide eyes and somewhat worried now. He looks at you all and says, "Sorry? What did he say?"
He said that we were getting money we had to make the exchange for you for money. That was all. It's fine.
He looks at you. He looks sort of like round you all and sort of like says. He pauses for a while, and then he says, "Are you going to kill me?"
I think he said that the asset is distinguishable. I might have been wrong though.
All of a sudden, you feel the car go vroom, like that as some kind of turbo kicks in, and Wheels drives it off at quite a speed. Not, of course, breaking the speed limit, but you definitely find yourself heading in with more purpose rather than for the last hour or so when you've just been driving around. Roundabout. This is definitely a specific purpose.
Studley wants to, whilst he's in the back, he wants to go into astral space.
Yeah, cool.
And he wants to go up through the car, through the roof, and he's going to keep up with it, but he wants to survey the area. He wants to see whether or not he can see any other beings in astral that may be keeping up with the vehicle.
Okay. Max, you sort of like must be sort of like almost like asleep now, Studley, I think. That's what it must look like if you've gone into astral.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got his eyes closed.
Yeah, Max turns to you, Hector, and says, "Not going to kill me, are you?"
Of course not. We're going to try and keep you alive.
You're going to protect me, aren't you?
Hector will glance towards Billy Bob and go, not much that can get past him.
He says, you are going to protect me, aren't you?
Billy Bob's going to turn around and just say, "You'll be fine."
He continues to look at you, Hector, and says, "Promise you won't let me die."
I'll promise that. I promise that we won't let anyone shoot you.
That means I'm going to die, doesn't it?
I just said we're not going to let anyone shoot you.
No, but I asked you to promise that I wouldn't die. That nobody would kill me.
That. You could die of old age. You could die of disease. I can't promise that. I'll protect you against that.
I'm going to die. I'm
You're
going,
not
to,
going
die.
to die.
Billy Bob's just going to turn around and say, "No one's going to die."
He looks at you, Billy Bob, and says, "You won't promise to keep me safe."
I just said I won't let anyone shoot you.
He's avoiding the question.
Are you a face? Billy Bob's just gonna just turn around and look at him and just reassure him. You'll be fine.
He looks extremely almost like disappointed and almost like scared now. Even through the mask, he looks extremely worried and as if something, well, almost as if the end, his life is going to end pretty soon, and he's not even sure whether or not it might be even the people in the car who are going to be his executioners. Studley, you seem to be, there's nothing out in Astral in any case. It's a very business area. There's no spirits around or anything like that. But you can see coming up a huge building that is very sort of like very grey in astral space, but quite foreboding. And you notice that the car spins round and pulls up outside the big building.
Okay, so Studley's going to come back into his body. He's going to open his eyes, push his glasses back onto his onto his nose, and he's going to say, "Decisions, gentlemen." Right. Okay.
Billy Bob's gonna just turn around and say, "Stick with plan."
I was actually referring to Mr. Bob, who was going to be Mr. Malcolm. Right. Okay. How far are we away from the building?
You are actually pulled up alongside it.
Billy Bob's gonna. Sorry, go on.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say Billy Bob's gonna say he's gonna stick. He's gonna stick with Max, and like encourage them to get away from the building just in case.
So you can see where you currently are. You're currently in the car.
Yeah, sorry, I had to scroll down.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
And you should be able to see some of the building, yeah? Should be able to see the inside the lobby. And is that all you can see?
Yeah, I can see
like
the desk, a blue thing, some potted plants, and then 4 labels that say lobby.
Yeah, excellent. So, and Wheels says, see you soon.
Hector will turn to Studley and go, do you want to, or shall I?
Studley he'll cast a spell, turn himself into John Markham.
Okay. In which case, Hector will get out of the car, give a quick look round after opening the door to see if there's anybody around. If he doesn't see anyone, he wants to he'll gesture for Mr. Malcolm to get out of the car.
Studley will wait until the asset is out and is moving with Hector, and then in the car he'll cast a physical mask on himself to make himself look like Professor John Markham.
So, sorry, do you want Sinclair out the car, Hector?
Sinclair, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought Hector was waiting until Studley had turned himself into Mr. Malcolm, and then from then he was going to get out of the car. Sorry.
All right.
I thought I said that.
Okay, so you want me to do it in front of the asset? Okay, I'll cast physical mask.
Fine. No, that's fine. Unless Billy Bob wants to get out the front and go around and get the rest of the town first.
Billy Bob was going to say, take care to Wheels. Take care, Wheels. And get out and this side?
Yeah.
So he's going to get out and take the open the door and let the asset out.
Yeah, cool. And then Studley, you can do your mask spell. Five. So I'm going to put this little thing on you, just to remind us of the number of successes you have on you at the present moment in time. Yeah, cool.
Okay. So he, Studley gets out of the back of the car, looking like an older, distinguished gentleman, probably in some type of probably have some type of tweed on him, because all old people normally do.
Sounds good.
Maybe some of those little elbow leather pads on his thing, and of course his voice has changed as well. So
yeah, cool. But you can still use your normal voice if you wish. I don't mind.
Okay,
it's up to you.
He's going to send one last message to Athena, just basically asking any way to jam or disable Cortex bomb ? So,
okay.
And he'll get out the car.
Cool.
And he'll go up and he'll say, shall we?
Oh, I can't move him.
The asset is extremely quiet at the moment. He almost like feels that he almost like feels that he's going to die. You should everybody should be able to control the asset.
No.
Negative.
Nope.
Negative. I can draw a big purple thing around him.
Something else.
Or I can.
You can say something else as well.
Can you not move him?
No.
No, I can move Billy Bob at the same time as me.
You can what?
Well, watch. If I do like that, I can move you at the same time as me. Still no control.
Okay, hang on a minute. Let's just.
Billy Bob needs to get better at resisting magic.
Let's just.
Billy Bob was going to stay like either. Well, I was hoping Hector and Billy Bob was going to stay next to the asset and walk in like that.
Okay, that's fine. Hector's fine with that.
If we could get somebody else in the front, we can probably get all 4 people in a blast radius.
Yeah.
We can ask Wheels to lead the way.
Try it now.
I
Oh,
can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, spoil. Oh, I can move all 3.
Okay, what would you like to do?
Studley's in the form of John Markham is going to have a look round, almost as if he's just surveying the place, saying, "Oh, this is a nice building," but he's looking for anybody who's might be keeping an eye out on the building. He's also going to switch to his astral sight as well, just to see whether or not he can see any astral beings keeping.
Of course it's almost like it's sort of like dark outside now because it's after hours, and you notice that the foyer is almost like on what you might call emergency lighting. So there's a lot of uplit lights, and it is lit, but it's quite dim. It's that sort of lighting that when the office is shut down, it's like that. And the same with the corridor beyond, but it's quite. It's not completely dark.
Billy Bob's gonna tell them to wait there. He wants to go in and see if he can see anyone for the meet. Ask if this is the right place, sort of thing.
Okay.
So he's gonna make his way in.
Okay, so as you get to the door, you notice that from a side room appears a rather suited man, and he walks over to the front door and presses a button on the side, and the door opens. He says, "Welcome, gentlemen. Please do step inside the foyer."
Billy Bob's gonna wave him in. Or wave him up, not in, but up.
Hector will say, "Let's go then," and he's going to walk towards the doors, making sure that both Mr. Malcolm and the asset coming with
Professor Malcolm.
Professor Malcolm. My apologies, sir. And I'm going to walk towards the door with them.
The Studley's just thinking back to the room that they found the asset in.
Yeah.
There was no metal in it, was there? It was stone and wood.
Correct.
Can Billy Bob tell if he's got this dude's got a weapon on him?
Yeah. You can actually. You three, are you going inside the foyer? You have been invited in.
Yeah, I mean we'll go in.
So Billy Bob, all you need to do is roll your perception plus your intuition. Normally, if you just roll your perception, it will automatically add your intuition to it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you sort of like look over, and as you look over, the suited man sort of like starts to talk to you. He sort of like says, "Gentlemen, I will not be asking you to leave your weapons here, because I understand we are all, shall we say, experienced." And he sort of like opens his left side of his jacket, and you see there's the massive hilt, the handle of an Ares Predator pistol in like a shoulder holster in there, and he sort of like smiles and he says, "I hope we understand each other."
Billy Bob's going to smile and say, "Lead the way."
Professor Markham laughs and says, "Oh yes, we all come prepared." And he's going to open his sort of like tweed jacket, and there's sort of like one of those things that you have pens in, you know, to keep them all nicely in your jacket.
Nice.
And he's going to say, "Look," and then he's going to close his.
Can Hector and Studley make a perception roll for me, please? Okay, Hector, you, or both of you.
I've got 5 with a -2 modifier.
I know. Both of you look over and you see that Sinclair, Max Sinclair, i.e. the asset, is looking very, very white. He's sweating a lot. And you see him, he's almost like physically shaking. It's totally the reverse of what he was before, ever since the encounter in the car. And if you notice, Studley, you notice that, if you remember, you were somebody that he really wanted to meet, and yet he's made no attempt to speak to you or anything. He looks decidedly worried.
Okay.
So I'm going to reveal a part of the map again, so you'll be able to see whereabouts you are going. See it?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So this part, I'm just getting back onto my pointer. Sorry. This part here, can you see that? That seems to be a corridor. It seems to be a long corridor.
Okay.
I'll move you in a second, but just to point out, you can see these are chairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some kind of coffee machine with cups on, printer, some kind of telefax machine. This seems to be some kind of workstation. And these are doors. Okay, so you can see that there's a door here. For the purpose of this map, can you assume that the blue things are walls? Okay, walls and nothing else. Okay, so the guy escorts you through this place.
Billy Bob wants to also check, see if he can see any other like guards around at the same time.
Okay, cool.
He's walking through. I need ropes again.
Marcus, Professor John Markham would go in along with. How's the asset at the moment? Is he?
Well, he's staying very close to Billy Bob at the moment, and he brings you into this room. And then he brings you into this room. So
What is there anything in the room?
Yeah, he saw you. I'm moving your character, so don't worry.
Right.
He brings you all into here, and there is the chair exactly how it is. I'm just going to shrink you down a bit, so you fit into the room a little bit better. Oops, sorry, Studley. I might leave Billy Bob just nice and big like that.
Billy Bob's not actually going to sit.
Yeah, cool. What would you like to do?
He's just going to stand behind the chair. So
okay,
mm,
the guard closes the door behind him and sort of like stands in front of it. Billy Bob, can you make your perception check for me, please?
Yeah, sure. Come on, baby, Daddy wants a Ferrari.
Okay, you notice no other guards as you come through. You do notice at this point, however, that the suited man has an earpiece in as well. You think it's just like a comm link? It's their version of a comm link. Over the comm link, you hear Athena. She says, interesting host. Would you like me to access it?
Studley's going to he's going to have to send a message because he doesn't have any subvocal or anything. He's going to have to type and say and just put yes please, any information send to, and then he's going to put about his image link.
Okay. She says over comm, she says, don't worry, I'm coming in.
Professor John Markham is going to ask the guard at the door. He's going to say, excuse me, good sir, do you know how long before the meeting takes place?
He sort of looks over to you and sort of like says, do not worry, sir. She's on her way. Would it be
possible to get some Sawyer calf or something while we wait? Some light refreshments, maybe some nibbles?
No, it would not be possible.
Oh, right. Okay. One of those meetings. Low budget.
You get a message from Athena. She says, I'm in. Running silently. Interesting host. Very full of what can only be seen as, are they agents walking around in here?
Billy Bob's going to start pacing, walking up and down, like up towards the guard. Then he's going to turn around and walk back down to about here, and then walk back up again. He's just going to keep pacing the floor.
You notice that Max Sinclair's like this on the table.
John Markham is going to pat him on the back, and he's going to say, Are you not feeling well, boy?
He just looks over to you and he says, he gets really close to you and says, Professor, I'm going to die. Athena's voice comes over. They've shut their security system down.
Studley's going to again send a message and say completely cameras ?
After a while, Athena comes back to you and says, all cameras are shut down. And there's something quite strange here. There's a system that I haven't... What on earth is this? All of a sudden, the suited man says, Gentlemen, you have a visitor.
Hex is just going to remain very calm, not moving, and say to the security guard, says, "Thank you."
And the suited man opens the door and steps outside, and a woman comes in.
As soon as the woman comes in, Hector will stand up, be very gentlemanly,
Yeah, cool.
nod his head slightly, and say, "Nice to meet you."
Okay, and I'll reveal to you who it is.
I need to zoom in.
Is that the same token as, or is it the same person as the previous token that you used? Hector is going to see if he can try and place her in his memory.
Oh yes, you can. If I don't think you were playing Hector, but I think Billy Bob definitely recognises her.
Fill us in.
Her name was. Yeah.
It's the
It's the woman from the pizza shop.
yeah. It's I can't remember her name, but she tried holding people. She had them video clips or something of them.
She certainly did. Her name's Farah.
Farah, that's it.
She
did we have a thing?
That was the other one.
You had a thing.
She is carrying what appears to be a briefcase, and she says, "Gentlemen, shall we sit down?" And she comes and she sits herself down.
Hector will wait for Farah to sit down first. Sorry, the lady to sit down first. As soon as she does, he's going to sit down as well, giving weird looks to Billy Bob because Billy Bob's face is just gone.
Billy Bob's going to literally just turn around and say, "What are you doing here?"
Farah just sort of like turns around to him and just sort of like looks at him and almost like smiles and turns back to the deal at hand. "Oh, Professor Markham, so nice to see you."
Nice to see you, dear.
I am somewhat...
I did ask to see whether or not there was any soy calf on the go, but no, apparently not.
Sadly, since the office is totally shut down at the present moment in time, out of working hours, I hope you understand, and I do apologise for any inconvenience. But I'm a great fan of your work.
Ah, right.
Perhaps we'll have the time later on this evening to start to discuss your interest in proton-neutron acceleration through the prismatic sphere.
Who knows?
Well, hopefully we'll be...
I'm not feeling all that accommodating, seeing that there was no soya calf.
Well, maybe a trip to the local bar afterwards. Maybe an opportune moment to discuss your latest research. She looks across to the asset.
John Markham will just take out a hanky and sort of like dab his forehead a bit, like he's sweating a bit.
She looks over to Max Sinclair, the asset, and says, "Mr. Sinclair, why so sad? Surely you are glad to be back where you belong."
Billy Bob's going to turn around and say, "Prismat what?"
"I have, as agreed, the money, or should I say the cred sticks, all certified here in variety of currencies, 10,000 credits in each certified cred stick." And she puts up the case and she pops it open and she turns it round to you, John Markham, and you can see the cred sticks all there lined up in a nice suitcase, all padded round. It looks like they're platinum cred sticks, and definitely, if they're all full, definitely adding up to the proposed 100 credits.
John Markham's going to reach over for the.
As you reach, she goes, bang, and closes the briefcase. She says, Mr. Markham, please wait. We have to do our checks. But in a sign of good faith, I am prepared to leave the money here while I take our colleague, or should I say my colleague, Mr. Sinclair here, for his sin check to make sure everything is in order. Please, do not go anywhere. There is a guard outside, and I wouldn't want to, shall we say, spoil our possible chat for later on. Mr. Sinclair, shall we? And the asset sort of like reluctantly stands up and comes round to join the woman, and the woman stands up, preparing to leave.
Billy Bob wants to ask Pharaoh, like, what's your game?
What's her game?
Yeah, what's she doing?
She's taking Max Sinclair for the identity check.
No, he wants to know what she's doing here. Like, why is she here?
She says, Sir, I work here. I am an employee of Qubit 64.
He's gonna. Billy Bob's gonna ask, "Were you working here all this time?"
Of course, sir. I really need to get the identification of the acid sorted, so I would appreciate it if you stand out the way so I can go and get the sin check completed.
Is there a way that we can get these cred sticks checked to make sure that all the money is actually there?
Yeah, each comlink actually has a checker, so you just pop it in and it can tell you exactly how much is in each one.
Well, Billy Bob's he's gonna hold them there until the cred sticks are all checked.
Okay. At which point Hector will stand up, cross over to where the suitcase is, and just say, "Just going to check the cred sticks."
She sighs heavily and says, "Well, this will certainly be being reported back to your employer."
As I'm sure you understand, you have your checks, we have our checks,
and why we can't do it at the same time seems quite unofficially out of character and business.
Well, we don't know what your business is.
And then Hector will start.
Or
it
adds up to 100,000 credits.
Hector gives a nod to Billy Bob and goes, "All good." And he's going to close the suitcase.
Billy Bob's going to give a big smile, move to the side, and say, "There you go."
She says, "I will be getting in touch with your employers about this." And she disappears outside with the acid, and the door closes behind her.
Any other windows?
No.
Studley's going to send a message to Athena.
Looks like you're on top of Hector there.
Sorry.
We'll see.
I don't. It keeps clicking to grid.
Hold down your Alt.
Yeah. He's going to send a message to Athena just saying, "Camera's still off?" ?
She says, "Yes." She says, "One moment. That strange system is coming online. I've never really seen anything like this before. Can all three of you make a perception check, please?"
Can Billy Bob hold the door before it closes?
It's already shut behind her, as stated.
No, I'm re-rolling mine because I didn't take my situation modifier into account.
Because you're sustaining a spell.
Yeah.
And get 3 more successes because of it.
Okay, you all suddenly hear the slight coming
Billy
into the
Bob's got
room.
turn round and
And at that
kick the
point,
ball.
Athena says over your speaker, she says, "It's a bloody gas system." And we will take our first break there for tonight. Okay, so we will be back in precisely 10 minutes. So please, please, please don't go away and do come back and see whether or not,
Oh, shit.
bloody hell, and see whether or not the effects of gas on the party. Don't go away. Well, do go away, but come back soon.